Network with your hosts, Doug Engler and Darren Starling.
Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by HomecircleMedia.com for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from stationery, pens, pencils, and officially licensed artwork. Be sure to check out HomecircleMedia.com today, or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox for the latest and greatest in anime gear. I'm getting everything screwed up tonight because I'm trying to multitask. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and commission needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox, that's Kaycifoxx, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This is off to a great start. Of course, welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me, as always, in the co-host seat is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling.
Good evening.
And we are also simulcasting again tonight on YouTube, trying out the YouTube channel, seeing how things go. So definitely check us out over there. We're going to be having some fun tonight. We've got great guests that are going to be joining us. Not just one, but we have 5 guests that are going to be joining us tonight. It's a little bit of a different format from our normal due to the fact of time zones and stuff like that. They're not going to be able to join us till about 9 p.m., so in about an hour we'll be welcoming them. But we have the Chaotic Good Cast is going to be joining us. Douglas Shute, Ben Higgins, Amanda Kahl, Jason Hunt, and Barney Smith will all be coming on talking about their podcast, the Chaotic Good Cast. They broadcast through the Victory Conditions Gaming YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch channels. It's a very fun podcast. If you're interested in tabletop gaming, things like Warhammer or RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, things like that, you definitely want to check this show out. It is really, really cool. And so definitely you want to check that out. And for those of you who are joining us over on YouTube, hello. Feel free to chat in the chat room. Always happy to see people in there. Always happy to see the new subscribers. If you like what we're doing, we are planning on jumping over from Blog Talk to 100% YouTube here soon, which means I'm going to have to get a soundboard to bring over some of our show IDs, things of that nature. But we'll get into that more as we get closer. Tonight we wanted to start off the show talking about, well, the spring season is coming to an end. A lot of our favorites are closing out, and we've got the summer season of animes right on the horizon. And I was curious, Darren, what is your thought of the summer shows that are coming out?
We got a very good lineup coming in. A lot of continuations and a couple of new, interesting-looking animes. A couple new isekai animes, a couple of new romance animes. It's looking to be a very promising season. And of course, my favorite for this coming season so far is Slime's Season 2, Part 2.
I'm intrigued. We just caught up to the finale in English dub of Slime Part 2, or Season 2, Part 1. And man, did that take a different turn than I thought it was going to take when I first started watching the series. And I remember saying to my wife, I am so glad that I didn't give up on this series after Season 1, being like, it's okay, because I went back and re-watched it a second time and was like, you know what, this was actually a really good world-building anime and the characters are fun, and then it just went, like, really good from there. So I am excited about Season 2 coming out, or Season 2 Part 2 coming out. Says it's going to be debuting in Japan July 6th. And I'm going off of the My Anime List website for the list that I have up. Of course, the show I'm really looking forward to, Darren, is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Season 2.
Yes. Kyoto Animation's glorious return to the industry.
And I think it's a good statement to... Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I don't think they could have picked a much better show.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. saying it. I think it's a great statement to say, you know what, we may have been down, but we are not out, and we're coming back fast and furious with one of our more beloved titles. And Dragon Maid, you still see people cosplay from this show all the time. It's still a highly talked about show, and it's got adorable dragon girls. So, I mean, what's not to love?
Pretty much. And don't forget, as kind of a teaser for this season, they've been releasing little 2-minute videos called Mini Dragon.
But there are no involved.
Nope. So far, just dragons.
And I know that on a show that I think is high on your radar that's coming out in the summer, Jahe-sama. If I...
Hold on.
It is Jahe-sama won't be discouraged. The great Jahe will not be defeated. They have
the great
From what it looks like, it looks like this could be another one that's right up there like God, what's the name of that show that you've been really talking about this season? Where the main girl picks on or bullies Miss Nagatoro.
Nagatoro.
I think this looks like it's in that same category.
But this looks like a fantasy type.
It says, once respected as the Demon Realm's second greatest authority, the Demon King's aide Jahe ruled her subjects with fear, but when a magical girl attacks and destroys a magic gem containing massive power, the Demon Realm is destroyed. Although she survives, Jahe has lost almost all of her powers and finds herself stranded in the human world with a childlike appearance. In order to gather more mystic gems so she can permanently restore both her original form and the demon realm, Jahe will have to adjust to her new life and deal with everyday problems that she has never experienced before. From working to pay for living expenses to arguing with her landlord whenever her rent is late, the great Jahe will not be discouraged.
Kind of sounds more like an alternative to how not to summon a demon lord, but the devil is a part-timer.
It does.
Because it's another reverse isekai.
And there are plenty of isekais coming out this season. Because we have... I sat and watched the Anime Man's take on the summer 2021 anime. And we have How a Realist Hero Rebuilds the Kingdom is coming out. Says when Kazuya Soma is unexpectedly transported to another world, he knows the people expect a hero. But Soma's idea of heroism is more practical than most. He wants to rebuild the flagging economy of the new land he's found himself in. Betrothed to the princess and abruptly planted on the throne, this realist hero must gather talented people to help him get the country back on its feet. Not through war or adventure, but with administrative reform.
You know, my friend, well, not my friend, but my employee at work was hyping up this series. I believe it was a light novel, and said he was waiting to see this get an adaptation, and he got his wish.
Yeah, and
this is definitely going to be.
Yeah, this is
definitely going to be an interesting one.
Oh, go ahead.
I said it's definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's coming out of the JC Staff Studios, and they've got some good stuff.
I really like JC Staff.
And some of the characters in this look adorable. This might be one I check out. I don't know. I'm kind of jumping around. They've got what's this one here? Out of Silverlink Studios, and I hit the wrong button, which is always wonderful, and I lost it. And I got to click on the link to try to get the alternative title, but this one doesn't have an English title. Otome Game no Hamatsu Flag Shikai Nai Akuya.
That it does have a demon title, an English title.
Oh, is this the
Next Life
Summon
is
to a Villainess?
Always
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is season 2.
My Next Life is a Villainess.
Ah, okay. I just clicked on the title and didn't really... I should have... Like, looking at the characters now, I didn't finish My Next Life as a Villainess. I did start it. And I probably should have kept up with it. Because I think you said that it was a pretty good anime.
It was an interesting one, to say the least, because when you highlight the supposed villain of the show more than the heroine, it was a different take.
And we have...
Especially with all the scenarios she had to come up with to avoid getting herself killed or excommunicated.
So it might be probably one I should go back and revisit at some point.
At some point.
Up next we have The Detective is Already Dead. And
it's not You're Already Dead, it's The Detective.
Yeah, it says alternative titles, The Detective is Already Dead. Kimizuka Kimihiko is a crisis magnet. From getting caught up in a crime scene to accidentally witnessing a drug deal, trouble seems to find him around every corner. So it's no surprise when his rather mundane flight suddenly enters a state of emergency with a dire need of a detective on board. Unfortunately, his attempt at avoiding trouble is foiled by a beautiful girl with silver hair who goes by the codename Siesta. Declaring herself a detective, she unceremoniously drags Kimizuka into the case as her assistant. That incident spelled the beginning of an adventure around the globe that went beyond his wildest imagination. Putting their lives on the line, the two took down criminal organizations, prevented disasters, and saved thousands. But the curtain closed on their epic journey with Siesta's untimely death 3 years later. Resolving to live an ordinary high school life this time, Kimizuka spends a year maintaining a low profile. However, as fate would have it, a girl with an uncanny resemblance to Siesta comes crashing into his life, threatening to throw his peaceful days into disarray.
So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure sounds like...
With cuter characters.
Only, pretty much.
Looking at the list here, it definitely is looks like some cuter characters, and the main girl that is on the cover art here, silver hair, blue eyes, pretty cute character.
She reminds me of what's her name from Date Alive.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of her name either. But she was...
I hate it when that happens.
She was the one that was with the AST.
Yeah.
I'll think... It'll come to me when we least expect it.
Pretty much.
Up next on the list here, we have the honor student at Magic High School.
Basically, it's a spin-off to the Irregular at Magic High School. It's the point of view from the sister instead of our main protagonist.
That sounds like it would be kind of a neat little twist.
Because there's already 2 seasons of the Irregular at Magic High School, so having a spin-off series from the sister's point of view is...
So it's kind of like, you know, you could almost compare it to like, you know, certain magical index, and then It gets into Scientific Railgun and all the spin-offs from the Index series.
Wow. And how many spin-offs has the Fate series had?
Too many. Up next on the list here is Kanojo mo Kanojo.
Basically, it translates to girlfriend.
And after harboring an unrequited love for years, Naoya finally gets to date his childhood friend Saki. However, just as he tries to commit himself to this relationship, he receives an abrupt confession from Nagisa Minase. At first, Naoya tries to reject her, but is soon overcome by feelings of not wanting to hurt Nagisa. Trying to avoid betraying his girlfriend's trust in him, Naoya thinks up a solution to make both girls happy. Two-timing. Naturally, Saki rebuffs this idea, but through Naoya and Nagisa's persistence, she reluctantly submits. With this, a three-way affair begins between Naoya, his girlfriend, and his other girlfriend, as they develop a relationship that deviates from the social norm. I don't know what to think about that one.
Unfortunately, I see it. You kind of see it all the time. You see more and more people coming out as having poly or open relationships. In my personal opinion, saddening, but that's just me. I mean, but it's nice to see people are actually okay with that. I mean, I have mixed feelings on that.
Well, everybody's got their own thoughts and beliefs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and age, everybody likes to voice them and piss off everybody else.
Pretty much. But hey, this seems perfectly fitting for an anime.
I mean, anime is good at hitting those tropes that is always like walk the fine line between shows about incest or borderlining on incest, of the little sister going after the older brother, or shows like Kiss X Sis where there's very, very taboo subject lines and things. Anime likes to walk those lines. So I think this show might fit right in with the rest of those.
Hello, Mario.
Hello, Mario. Welcome to the YouTube side of things, and again, we are simulcasting on Blog Talk Radio and on YouTube. We're enjoying trying the live streaming on YouTube. It's probably going to become a mainstream thing for us. Tonight, we are starting off the show with an hour of talking about the summer 2021 animes that are coming out. We're also going to talk about some of the shows that we've been catching up from the spring 2021. And then, coming in the second half of the show, we have our guests of honor, the Chaotic Good Cast from Victory Condition Gaming. That includes, we're going to have Douglas Shute making his return after a couple of years away from chatting with him. He is also going to be joined by Ben Higgins, Barney Smith, Amanda Kahl, and Jason Hunt. So we're going to have a lot of fun chatting with the Chaotic Good Cast crew. I've been watching them for a while. I want to say a couple months ago they celebrated their 100th episode, which is no small feat. I think we're over 300 episodes. I have to go back and double check. But I know we're up there after doing this for like 7 years. It is absolutely crazy. The next show on the list here is I'm Standing on 1 Million Lives. Season 2. I've never even heard of this anime, so I really don't know anything about it.
It's in my list, in my planned list. As always, it was one of those shows that I planned to watch one of the other seasons, and it kind of got thrown to the back burner.
It's easy for that to happen. I know that there's plenty of shows I thought I was going to watch this season that I just started and didn't continue for one reason or another. The Dragon Goes House Hunting. I think I got 2 episodes into that, and I'm like, I don't think I can watch this because the main character is just too annoying.
Worse than Aho Girl?
Pretty close. When you like Aho Girl, she's just a complete and total moron. Now, I thought of something funny with Aho Girl. In fact, I want to see if my wife could do a cross art piece between Aho Girl's main character and the minions, all just involving bananas. You're laughing because you know that would be great.
They include Banana Yama, I believe it was called. It's the anime that had the little cat sticking out.
Oh, Banana. Get the bananas in there. Up next on our list here is how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. So this sounds like a lot like. Oh wait, I already did that one. I did. I just
covered that one.
I was gonna say I just didn't X that out. Up next is Remake Our Life. Shiba Koya is a 28-year-old game developer. When his company going bankrupt and him losing his job, he returns to his hometown. Looking at the success of creators his age, he finds himself regretting his life decisions as he lay distressed on his bed. As Kyoya wakes up, he discovers that he has traveled 10 years back in time before he entered college. Will he be able to finally make things right? This is a story about a failed person who is given a second opportunity to follow his dreams.
So in other words, a race.
So in other words, a different type of isekai. Instead of being transported to another world, he just goes back in time.
It kind of sounds like a race in Steins Gate.
And this is coming from the studios Feel. I don't think I've ever heard of Feel Studios.
Oh my goodness. Really, Doug?
No, I have. I'm sorry. I've seen many shows from Feel. I just didn't know it was Feel.
Ah.
In fact, everything from Kiss Exist to Mayochiki. Origaru, Hinamatsuri. So yeah, a lot. Actually, they have a lot of really good titles. I just didn't know that the studio was named Feel. So I take that back. I don't know many of the I'll be honest, I don't know many of the Japanese studios. I'm kind of an idiot when it comes to that side of things.
Oh look, they even did one of my least favorite animes of all time.
Which was?
Bikini Warriors.
I thought you were going to say Conception. I don't know who did that. I don't want to know.
I don't remember. But they also did one of my favorite series, So I Can't Play H. The one with the Rias lookalike that's flat at the board.
Yep. Next up on the list here is the case study of Vanitas. Vanitas no Cart. This looks like it's about vampires. I'm not sure if this is one that I don't think I would. This is in my wheelhouse of things I would probably watch just because it looks interesting. Says there once lived a vampire known as Vanitas, hated by his own kind for being born under a blue full moon, as most arise on the night of a crimson one. Afraid and alone, he created the Book of Vanitas, a cursed grimoire that would one day take his vengeance out on all vampires. This is how the story goes, at least. Vanitas no Cart follows Noe, a young man traveling abroad in an airship in 19th century Paris with one goal in mind: to find the Book of Vanitas. A sudden vampire attack leads him to meet the enigmatic Vanitas, a doctor who specializes in vampires, and, much to Noe's surprise, a completely ordinary human. The mysterious doctor has inherited both the name and the infamous text from the Vanitas of legend, using the grimoire to heal his patients, but behind his kind demeanor lies something a bit more sinister. So that seems a little bit on the interesting side.
Well, an anime set in the 1800s.
And in Paris, nonetheless. On that note, we do have to go to our Bomb of the Hour break. When we come back, we're going to be talking more about the upcoming 2021 summer season. So definitely stay tuned for more Anime-Zing Radio right here.
This is Happy the Cat, and you're listening to Anime-Zing Radio!
And welcome back to Anime-Zing Radio here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me, as always, in the co-host seat is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling.
Applause!
Yay!
No, I'm just kidding. How you doing?
Oh, I'm having fun. We're having a good time tonight. We're talking the summer 2021 anime season that is right around the corner. Literally, a lot of these shows are going to be starting up within the next 7 to 10 days. And there's a lot of interesting shows out there. We've touched on some that were atop of the My Anime list. Now we're going through picking some at random. And after watching the Anime Man's YouTube channel and him talking about the upcoming season, there's an isekai, and he hates isekais, much like my wife. Just absolutely sick of the isekai genre because, let's be honest, there are so many freaking isekais that have come out. And Darren, you are much like myself. We are isekai trash, so we're like, bring on the isekais. We're ready for more. This one...
Bring them on. Show us how you're going to make them different to keep us intrigued.
This one kind of stuck out at me because it almost has a Konosuba kind of feel based off of the what happens with the character in a way. And it says Kinji, who lacks any kind of work ethic, is a layabout in his modern life. One day, he finds himself transported to another world, but not in a grand fantasy of a hero welcome with open arms. He's immediately shoved into a terrible job. Now enslaved by an evil mining company in a fantasy world, Kinji's about to really learn the meaning of hard work. And if I remember correctly, this is one where, at first he was going to be a hero, and then the god looked at him and said, "You are so ugly. Your face is so ugly, we are going to strip you of your hero title, and we're just putting you to work." I believe that's the one. And just the fact that the gods are like, "Dude, you're ugly." I'm like, that's so cruel. I kind of want to watch it just to see that happen because I think it would be hysterical. And next one on the list is one, Darren, you sent me a link to earlier. And that is the Cheat Pharmacist's Slow Life, making a drugstore in another world. Like you said, let's see what we can do to make this isekai different from every other isekai out there.
Yep.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about this one?
Give me 2 seconds and let me pull it back up. First of all, the artwork looks adorable. 2, one day a corporate slave, Reiji, suddenly got transported to another world. He made the best of his skills to make better potions, which earned him lots of money, and with that money made a drugstore. An elf who has trouble aiming with his bow, give him some eye drops. A dragon who always breathes out fire unintentionally. Don't worry, we have cough medicine for you. Reiji's fun, slow life as a pharmacist in a village drugstore starts now. So it kind of sounds like I've been killing slimes for 300 years with the male version.
And I am curious because, like you said, the artwork is adorable, and there's this cute, like, fox-looking trap. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I'm just gonna call it a trap. That's front and center on the picture, and it's like, I kind of want to see this just because the characters look adorable. Much like killing slimes for 300 years. The characters look adorable.
And I have never heard of this studio, EMT Squared.
So, we'll see what happens, it might be... Is that one of those studios that, let's see what else they've done. Assassin's Pride, Kuma 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 Bear, so that explains the adorableness of the artwork. what is this show? Love Tyrant. I think you've heard of that one.
Yes, I've seen Love Tyrant.
So they are EMT squared.
Yandere was Death Girl.
Urahara. So they've got some interesting titles. Shows that we have both seen. This one looks familiar. What is the English title on this? Oh, The Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Enerjar. Okay, that explains why the artwork looked familiar. That was actually another decent isekai. At least they don't make all isekais.
I don't think there's one studio that's almost exclusive isekai. I think pretty much all of the studios had to have a hand in an isekai at some point just to try and get into the trend.
Pretty much. Of course, Love Live is continuing as they have another show out called Love Live Superstar. So we haven't had enough of the Love Live Brigade. We have the latest edition. This one is produced by Sunrise Beyond for the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. Like, I've watched Love Live and Love Live Sunshine, and tried to get into another one that came out, and it just kind of lost interest because it seems like they just keep rehashing the same idea. Oh, wait! Here, I found the ugly anime. I found the one for the ugly anime. It wasn't the one that we spoke about earlier. This one is called Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy. The fantasy centers around Makoto Misumi, an ordinary high school boy summoned to an alternative world as a brave warrior. Unfortunately, the goddess of the world said with disdain, "Your face is ugly," stripped him of his title, and banished him to the outmost fringes of the wilderness. While wandering the wilderness, Makoto encounters dragons, spiders, orcs, dwarves, and all sorts of other non-human species. Due to the differences in the environment from his homeworld, Makoto now exhibits extraordinary power in magic and combat. Thus, he survives in this world while dealing with various encounters. The curtain rises on the alternative world social reform fantasy of a boy forsaken by gods and humans.
The problem is, he doesn't look that ugly. At least not to me.
Yeah, cause I'm looking at the artwork. It's like they probably could have done a better job at making him ugly.
It's kind of like, what's his face in his previous life? Which one am I thinking about? Oh yeah, Jobless Reincarnation, I believe it was.
Or Saga of Tanya the Evil. That guy looked like a jackass. He was. And Tanya the Evil getting season 2 coming soon.
Well, the guy in Jobless Reincarnation actually was ugly and was looked upon as the scum of society. But on another note, I hate to jump in here, but there's a couple that are piquing my interest, and one that I know is going to pique our sponsor's interest, Mr. Gavin Goska. There is more Higurashi coming out this season. I know that's a personal favorite show of his.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he is going to enjoy that immensely. He's talked about that a few times on the show.
Yeah, eventually. And another one that caught my eye. Wow, the artwork of that one looks very similar to Bastard Magical Instructor. But another one that looks fairly interesting is The Duke of Death and His Mate. Cursed by a witch as a child, the young Duke gained the unwanted power to kill every living thing he touches. Forced to move away from his family and into a large mansion deep in the woods, the Duke is treated as if he does not exist and is continually shunned by his peers. However, he is not entirely alone. Rob and Alice, his butler and maid, are always by his side. Alice loves to tease him, and as their relationship grows, the Duke makes it his goal to break free from his deadly curse. Of course, he is going to need some help, and who better to do this than the various inhabitants of the supernatural?
Interesting. I literally, too, was just looking at this. It's one of the tabs I had open from the random clicks. Excuse me. And
let's see, another harem for this season. The English title is Spirit Chronicles.
That's the other one I had open. I had two tabs open, and you just hit them both. And he has no access to see what I have open, folks, so this is really funny. Kind of knowing what he was going to go after.
We have similar tastes when it comes down to it.
We do.
Amakawa Haruto is a young man who died before reuniting with his childhood friend who disappeared 5 years ago. Rio is a boy living in the slums who wants revenge for his mother who was murdered in front of him when he was 5 years old. Earth and another world. Two people with completely different backgrounds and values. For some reason, the memories and personality of Haruto, who should have died, is resurrected in Rio's body. As the two are confused over their memories and personalities fusing together, Rio decides to live in this new world. Along with Haruto's memories, Rio awakens an unknown special power, and it seems that if he uses it well, he can live a better life. But before that, Rio encounters a kidnapping that turns out to be a princess of the Bertram Kingdom that he lives in. After saving the princess, Rio is given a scholarship at the Royal Academy, a school for the rich and powerful. Being a poor orphan in a school of nobles turns out to be an extremely detestable place to be. So,
this one seemed kind of interesting.
But you're treated even worse.
Probably. But it seems like it could be an interesting show.
Well, it's always interesting to see those shows where the nobles are going to school with your common, average, everyday people, and just how much the nobles look down upon their classmates.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through, seeing if anything else really jumps out at me.
Let's see.
So there's a water polo anime that's going to be coming out called Remain. What is this one? This one kind of is different. Mother of the Goddess Dormitory. Oh, I heard about this one.
I did too.
Nagumi Kusha is a 12-year-old boy who was abandoned by his father after their house caught fire, leaving him to roam the streets penniless. Then one day, a girl named Minerva, who finds him lying on the sidewalk, takes him to a women's college dormitory, one known for having troublesome residents, and asks him to be their dormitory mother. Surrounded by older women, forced to deal with their idiosyncrasies, Koshi starts his new, somewhat ecchi life. This screams... Oh, what was the name of that show? Oh, God, I watched it.
Love Hina?
No, it was I think it was Funimation. Let me see if I can find it here. Because it was a similar story about a boy who goes to what used to be an all-girls like building as he's going to school.
Showman sample?
Not Showman sample. This one came out in the last couple years.
Well, Setokai Yakuendamo was a all-girls school turned co-ed, but I know that's not it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find find this, and I'm like quickly scrolling through all of Funimation's shows, which trying to scroll through this many shows is not going to be a quick thing, but I'm doing as best as I can. I'm sure the camera can catch my eye sweeping left to right going through all of this. And it basically was a young boy. They thought that he might have been a girl at first, and all the girls like fawn over him, including the student council president, who kind of like comes off as kind of a stuck-up bitch to start off the show, and then even she warms up to him. And I'm trying to find it here. It's like that's a problem when you watch so many animes.
It wasn't Setokai no Ichizan. No, it wasn't.
No. It was... No, I say it was like Miss something. I'll know it when I see it. Oh, good God. This is going to drive me nuts now. It was a cute anime. I just need to find it here. Let's see. I just now finally got to the M's. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Miss Caretaker of Sonoharaso.
Ah, okay.
So that's the one that's the one I was thinking of. That sounds a lot like. And so that you know what, I probably would check this out just because. Right now it says no studios have there is no licensors found for this show. Studio is Azred. So that's a. I'm curious to see if Crunchyroll or Netflix or somebody picks this up. Now, we've talked a lot about the 2021 summer animes, but not so much about the ones that we've been watching here in the spring, this show. I know that you and I both have been watching a few different ones, as we mentioned earlier. I just finally caught up to Slime, reincarnated as a Slime Season 2, which that took quite the different turn, and I will say Malim is still freaking adorable, even though she's not what you expect. She comes in her adult form and is still cute as hell. And I want the figure of her in that outfit. I know it's out there for pre-order. I just don't have the money yet. Also finished watching been killing slimes for 300 years. What did you see that last episode?
No, like I said, I didn't have time to watch anything because of business.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
And business calls.
I don't want to spoil anything for you, but all I'll say is, damn, they look cute in maid outfits. And Dragon Girls for the win still.
So those two grew on you?
Oh God, they were adorable as all hell. Mario, if you have any shows that you're planning on watching in the summer 2021, let us know in the chat. I see you over there in YouTube land, and thank you for tuning in. If you're watching us via Blog Talk or via YouTube, thank you so much. We hope you're enjoying the show, enjoying the stream. I apologize for the little bit of quietness you get when we go to commercial breaks for licensing reasons. We cannot play the sound bites that we play during the commercial breaks on YouTube for copyright reasons and things like that. So once we make the change over, we will have a different format and some different things will be happening. So we thank you for enduring the silence during the commercial breaks, which we will have to take one here soon. Any other shows that you've tried to keep up with or watch this past week?
Nagatoro, which you really need to watch.
I know. You've been on my butt about that the whole season.
Because Nagatoro is freaking adorable.
Would you put her in the waifu category?
Yes, I would. Uzaki is still higher on my waifu list of the three annoying, teasing, bullying, however you want to phrase it, the trifecta there. But I would say she's slightly behind Uzaki.
Now, if I just went off of looks alone, I think Nagatoro is cuter than Uzaki. But that's just going off of looks alone.
Put her in the right outfit.
What was that?
Put her in the right outfit, but Nagatoro, depending on how she smiles, will scare the ever-loving out of you.
I think any woman could do that, honestly, but that's besides the point.
Well, sure. I'm just saying, though, they never really showed Uzaki's mischievous, evil side like they have Nagatoro, because that's basically her whole personality.
Oh, yeah. We've got to go to our top of the hour break, but when we come back, we're going to be joined by an amazing group of people. We have the Chaotic Good Cast who's going to be joining us here, and we're going to be talking about tabletop gaming. We're going to be talking about their podcast that you can catch over on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook through the Victory Conditions Gaming channel. And I have really enjoyed watching the shows that they've been putting on. They've been doing some live streaming RPGs. Really, they've been putting on a lot of good stuff, and I've learned a lot from these guys. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's still waiting to be seen. But it's going to be a lot of fun chatting with them. Stay tuned for more Anime-Zing Radio right here on the Blog Talk Radio.
Hello.
And we are excited tonight. We've got an amazing group of guests that are joining us. You could almost say they are a chaotic group, but they're a really good cast. And we are excited to welcome Douglas Shute, Amanda Kahl, Ben Higgins, and Barney Smith to the show right now. Joining us in a little bit also is going to be Jason Hunt. So please welcome the chaotic good cast to Anime-Zing Radio.
That's probably the warmest reception that we've ever had.
Yeah, Doug, you need to have that applause thing on there too. That was
I gotta work on that.
The difference between us and you and the Chaotic Goodcast, you guys do video, so you're able to come up with these really cool GIFs and little video clips and things. The show me the money in really bad high resolution, and you're able to do some things we're not able to do on the radio. So of course we got to find the applause so we can get everybody excited.
So do you have a cricket sound effect? If I say something that should be funny but just landed bad.
I don't have the cricket. I don't have a cricket sound bite, but I do have this.
Funny.
And that is an actual excerpt taken from an anime called Demon Lord Retry. We've been lucky enough to interview the voice actress who voiced that character on the show as well, and she loved the fact that I just took that one specific bunny out of a show where she says bunny at least 20 to 40 times, and every time it's a little different. And for our listeners out there who may not know of the Chaotic Goodcast, you've got to check them out. Awesome group over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch through the Victory Conditions Gaming. Doug, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the show?
Pretty much the Chaotic Goodcast started, well, Ben, how long has it been? It's been, at least a couple years now, right?
Yeah, I think you recently showed up in my Facebook memories. That we've been going for just about two years.
2
like
years,
on and
yeah.
off. We were a little spotty at the beginning, and then missed a few here and there. But yeah, we're over 100 episodes now, and we're a weekly show. So yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah. I think we're at episode 109. I think this tomorrow actually. I think that's it. Basically, it was, I've been doing Victory Condition Gaming for about 5 years now, and I was coming up with ideas of, hey, you know what, I really need to kind of do a weekly show, but, who wants to really tune in and listen to me every week? That's not fun. We've got quite a few folks that contribute to the show, and, I've got some great friends, and I thought, well, let's get some of them together, and we'll get my really talented and knowledgeable friends, and we'll just do a show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and, it just, one thing led to another, and we've added some segments along the way, and, yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. Barney came along, I think, how long did you come along? It was like a month after we first started, right, Barney?
Yeah, I kind of invited myself on. I said, hey, can I join your show?
Barney's like, I see enough of your talented friends turn down the opportunity to be on the show, and that's why you've got Ben and Rob. And
yeah, I'm like on the D list there. I'm like your C level there. I'm like, yeah, come on in. I guess everybody else turned me down.
I don't know about that, but it was a lot of fun. We've got Ben who knows a lot about games and manages the game store, and Jason, who's not here with us right yet because he's still getting out of work. He's up in Canada. We've given him the nickname the Geek of the North, and he's I think he's the oldest member of the Chaotic Goodcast by a couple of years, and he knows a lot of stuff, and that's what we kind of called him. And then we added Barney a little along the way, and then Amanda just kind of started filling in because Barney's I guess, too good for us some weeks and can't show up, and so he's got other things he's got to do that are more important than join us. And it's like civic responsibilities and board meetings and stuff that he's got to do. I don't know.
Being an upstanding citizen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really buy that.
Is it that, or is it he's got to get more copies of Captain Dingleberry?
Yeah.
It might be.
I gotta get the whole shot. Yeah. Side job, so I can get enough money to buy more Captain Dingleberry books.
I'm so sorry. I that was one of the earlier episodes that I tuned in, and Barney's holding up this comic that says Captain Dingleberry, and I'm like crying, laughing at the title of this, and you're like, oh, well, what about this one section? And it's titled Skid Marks. I'm like, oh my God, that's priceless.
Oh, Barney, that's typical Barney right there. Barney, of course, I said Ben is a game store manager, and he runs quarterstaff games up in Burlington, Vermont. And then Barney is artist and author, and so is Amanda. Amanda does her own fantasy webcomic as well, Age of Night. So, I just know a lot of, really talented, much more talented people than I am. And I said, well, let's just get them together and we'll talk every Monday night about certain things.
And I love the variety that you have on the show, where you've touched on many different types of tabletop gaming, talk about Warhammer, painting figures. Warhammer is something I know absolutely nothing about, but it's neat to hear you guys talk about this stuff, because even though I do a talk show that is more anime-based than pop culture, I want to branch out. I want to be able to include everybody in on the show, which is one reason why I love watching your show, because I actually get to learn a lot about things I personally don't know.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. We're glad that we can be some sort of wealth of information. I don't know if that's like a good wealth of, a good source of information, but, we appreciate you. We're at least, explaining things to someone that's new to the tabletop hobby, and that's always encouraging, and that's kind of what we want to do, as one of our goals for the show. And, for Victory Condition Gaming in general, that's what we want to do, is we want to promote and, celebrate and, highlight the things that we enjoy about tabletop gaming.
Oh, definitely. And I've and Doug, I found your channel, I don't even remember, but we've talked for probably the last 4 or 5 years, because of Victory Condition Gaming and the tabletop stuff. And of course, your daughter had done the voice acting work for an upcoming game at the time, and so I've always had the interest in tabletop gaming. I love the fact that you, with Victory Conditions Gaming, started off showing, okay, this is a playthrough of how to play these up-and-coming games, these independent games that people may not be aware of. And it's neat that you've brought that over to a format where you include everybody from artists and the game store owners and everybody that you have on your staff with the Chaotic Good Cast, because you really bring in a various wealth of knowledge from many different areas.
Yeah, I mean, in order to, I've always been of the mindset that, you always want to be around people that are much smarter than you. And, you surround yourself with people that are smarter with you and more talented than you, and you learn from them. And that's kind of, when I was looking to do this weekly show, all of these folks are selected for a reason. They're talented and knowledgeable and, awesome people. So I'm just like, let's bring them all together, and luckily we all get along, and we're all, good sports, and we all have a lot of fun on Monday nights.
And that's why I just hang out in the chat.
I'll tell you about that. And I tell you though, Chuck, the hard part though is sometimes when there's people along that know more about things than I do, then I have to backtrack on everything I say. I'm like, well, I kind of meant it that way.
I've kind of made a habit recently of asking the stupid noob questions in the chat room, partially because I am the stupid noob, and partially because I think it's good for those who are like me, interested in the hobby but have no idea where to start. So if they can have somebody just speak up for them, I'm happy to do so.
No, that's great. That's what we want. You know, we want people to we all started somewhere, you know, and you know that this is the only way the hobby is going to continue to thrive. You know, the tabletop hobby is probably one of the most, probably at the most popular point it is of all time, and the only way for it to stay there is for new people to, you know, get into it. So, you know, if you've got questions, we love answering them on the show.
And I know that you've had a lot of interesting talks recently, everything from the conventions coming back to having games in the gaming stores and things like that, safety measures and stuff. What is it that you guys specifically are looking for when the conventions come back? Are you looking to jump right back into the vending world? Are you like me? I can't wait to go to our first big con back is going to be Kineticon. And we are just so excited about being in the atmosphere. You know, we've taken all the health procedures. My wife and I are fully vaccinated, so we don't have to worry about that type of thing. We just want to get back around the vendors, the dealers, the artists, the cosplayers, and everything, because we have missed it horribly. Is that how you guys have felt as well?
Amanda, do you want to take that one?
I miss my friends. No, there's a really big community of people who spend a lot of time working at different conventions, and those are all of my people, and we have a very nice, close, supportive community, and we haven't seen each other in 2 years. So I'm very much looking forward to being back with those other artists and other vendors, and definitely I'm looking forward to being around other fans as well, because that's a lot of fun as well. But I really miss that supportive community, and it's great getting to do stuff like the show online, where I get to still talk to people and we get to still hang out virtually, but it's not exactly the same thing. So I'm looking forward to doing that in real life again.
And some of our listeners may not know, Amanda and I actually have met at a convention up in Maine. I think it was Ben Santos's convention, where
it was. Yep.
We had
called.
Yeah. Leanne had her Casey Creations table there, and we all hung out after the convention was over for dinner. It was my first time having poutine.
Oh, so good.
Which, now I live in Plattsburgh, New York, and I just introduced poutine to my best friend from Massachusetts and his son yesterday for the first time.
That's good. I'm glad that you're spreading the good word of poutine.
Oh, God, that stuff's amazing. If you haven't had it, you need to. And that was one thing I was looking forward to moving to Plattsburgh, New York, is the poutine. And there are so many places up here that offer it.
Nice. Too bad we don't have our resident poutine expert, Jason, on, since he's from Canada.
We can ask him about it later.
Actually, poutine is... Yeah, well, isn't it more Quebec, though? It's not really all of Canada.
Oh, is it just Quebec? I don't know. It's
all, that's why it's a thing in Maine too, because it's like a French Canadian thing. But
across the border, it's just all one great big mass to me. I don't know. It's like where moose dance around, and maple syrup.
I think Jason lives more in the part of Canada where you have to hunt and kill your own tauntaun in order to eat.
Oh,
I don't think they have poutine over there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They all open up Star Wars related animals to survive in the winter. Yeah. And I think I think their summer lasts for an afternoon, and yeah.
Yeah, I think they had it last week, and now they're right back to winter.
Yeah.
And
no, but I gotta say
though, you're late to the phone call.
Exactly. Yeah, but I would say though, just to add what Amanda said, it's we're lucky to be able to have that community. There hasn't been a lot of communities that translated well on the online form. Talking about your my uncle's bowling buddies, they couldn't Zoom bowl. Like, there are certain things that you couldn't really do. So, I mean, in a way, we were fortunate as artists and even like Tabletop Gamers with Roll20 and some of these other apps. It's not the same as being in person, but it was a version of ways to still be in touch with each other. And I got to say, I am also looking forward to the convention season. I've never made money tabling at a convention, so I've always been impressed with Amanda with how much she's been able to sell, and I'm like, and then but I go there really just for the camaraderie. And I do miss that. I do miss it a lot. And I think we're going to be heading back in that direction, very soon.
Yeah, I agree. I think right before this whole COVID stuff happened, I was all set to do a lot of national conventions, and now that things are opening back up, my September, I think I'm home maybe like 6 days out of the whole month. So I'm really looking forward to just traveling and being a part of the convention community and doing the big, these big events that I was looking forward to back, the beginning of 2020. I do miss the local circuit. We were doing live shows at some conventions here, and that was kind of the big goal for 2020 and going into 2021 for VCG was to do, because we did a couple theater shows in New York in 2019, and kind of wanted to do more of those, in 2020 and 2021. So I'm hoping that 2022 and beyond we'll be able to pick those back up and do more live shows at conventions and just reconnect with the folks that we'd see maybe once or twice a year, and I really kind of miss them, and it's been kind of rough this last year plus not being able to see the folks that you were seeing pretty much regularly on for the last 5, 6, 7 or plus years.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't been able to see each other's shoes or smell each other. I mean, these are the things that we miss.
Barney, anytime you want to smell me, man, I'll head right over.
Before or after one of your about 6-7 mile walks that you've been taking?
Yeah, I've been trying to walk. We've got this new segment on the show that we call Conbods, where basically it was I'm trying to get into shape for September because convention season's always horrible. Like, I don't know about Amanda, how I think Amanda still stays pretty healthy even during conventions, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But usually conventions are just murder on my body, just because I don't get very much sleep, I don't eat, I don't drink, and I'm usually out in nightclub ball pits, as Ben can attest. At like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I thought that it might be
close that ball pit down.
I didn't get anywhere near that ball pit.
I left the bar like an hour before you did, and you're like, "No, I'm staying ball pit." I'm like, I don't know about you.
Well, and Ben, I believe it's still closed down after February.
But I left it. I didn't go to the ball pit. Like, who goes to nightclub? Who goes into nightclub ball pits? Not me. I'm not doing that. But no, I wanted to get into shape a little bit more for convention season, and I'm like, you know what? If I have to report in every week and kind of tell folks my progress, it's going to make me a little more. It's going to give me a little more initiative to kind of stay on it. So, yeah, we started this initiative this segment called Conbods, and Barney and Ben and I have been kind of trying to be a little more, diligent about eating and being healthy and doing more active things. Although, Ben, didn't I see you went to like the Taste of the Fair last night? What the heck was up with that, man?
I may have put a small stumbling block in my progress today. He's consuming probably about 6,000 calories in the span of an hour and a half. So,
yeah. Man, you go, girl. I saw that, and I wasn't going to comment on it. I was like, all right, you know what? It's Ben's day. It's Ben's day. We'll let him have it.
When Ben has cheat day, Ben has cheat day.
I've been really good all week knowing this was coming. So I regret nothing. I regret nothing.
From that fair food thing looked amazing, though. I must say that all looked well worth it.
I can say where my wife has been on a diet or been working on losing weight for over a year. She gave it herself a strict calorie count and everything, and she worked hard. She goes to the gym and everything. She gives herself one cheat day a week, and doing that, she is down like 75 pounds. So having one cheat day a week is not bad.
Yeah, she's posted photos of her progress, and it's amazing, Doug. Tell her we said congratulations, because that's some amazing progress that she's had.
It really is. She has lost more weight than our youngest daughter weighs, so it's crazy to think.
Geez, 70 pounds. You know what? Go ahead and tell her to take 2 cheat days. That's a lot of weight to lose. That's good.
She just had a cheat weekend, which included a lot of, it was like a pound of mild wings and pizza and ice cream and stuff, so she treated herself.
Nice.
And doing that, she's still maintaining where she's been at for the last month or so.
Good for her.
That's awesome.
And in response to Amanda's thoughts about the conventions, I can totally agree on that, where it's a family. Especially when you're an artist or a vendor at conventions, you get that camaraderie. It feels like a family. You're seeing your friends and family you haven't seen in a while, which is one thing that we really miss about the con scene as well. And as artists, Amanda, you know as well as we do, the setup time, the breakdown time, all the time that goes behind the scenes that a lot of the fans and a lot of the attendees never get to see. You can build some really good friendships with your neighbors through that, helping each other out and stuff, not just during the open hours of the con.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, I don't
I'm very much
looking
forward to getting back into that.
I don't talk to anybody around me. That's definitely not how Amanda and I met.
Well, no, but that's because you have that bodyguard next to you that doesn't allow anyone talking to you. And you have to get an appointment to talk to you.
But that's usually Ben, though.
Yeah.
I can't let Doug get too big.
And we're going to pause real quick. We're not going to do the last commercial break, just because we have an hour with this amazing cast. We're going to pause real quick for a show ID, and we'll be back with more Anime-Zing Radio right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network.
Hello. This is Yohane from Love Live Sunshine, and you're listening to Anime-Zing Radio on the Blog Talk Radio Network.
And we're back with more Anime-Zing Radio here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me, as always, in the co-host seat is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling.
Hello.
He's still there. He's been quiet, because he usually is when we have guests on. And we have it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm as much as I consider myself witty, it just took me literally this long to realize it's amazing. It's like an amazing radio. Wow. Okay. Holy cow! I just got that.
And joining us tonight, as you can hear, we have the Chaotic Goodcast from Victory Condition Gaming. You can hear them live on Monday nights, broadcasting through YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So please welcome Douglas Shute, Ben Higgins, Barney Smith, and Amanda Kahl.
You just had to do that again and show me up even more.
I was going to say, why don't we pause for station identification and get, applause for us more often?
Yeah.
Now we know what Doug needs to do before the show tomorrow. He's got to get that applause going.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, can I just throw on my dad joke real quick?
Of course.
Okay, here we go. How much does a rainbow weigh? Not much. They're actually pretty light.
Funny.
That's good. I like that. I might have to bring that over to our show.
I'll try to find.
I'm not going to go so far as to say I liked it. I'm just going to say that one didn't pain me as much as some of your other ones.
That was pretty good. I will probably use that in the future, I'll be honest. Although I can't carry the bunny soundbite with me, I do have that somewhere. I might be able to send that to you once I find it, Ben, or Doug.
That'd be perfect.
And, of course, we're here with the better Doug, Douglas Shute. And I know you tried to put that on me while on the air a couple weeks ago. But no.
The vastly superior Doug Engler. that's what I think that's what your business cards say, right?
No, it just says Anime-Zing Radio.
Oh, I thought, but yeah.
Sounds like you need to upgrade cards for that.
Absolutely.
Superior Doug, and attribute it to Doug Shute.
That's right. That's what you should do. Doug Engler, the vastly superior Doug, and then put Doug Shute at the accredited.
And I do think that I need to make a trip to Burlington soon for multiple reasons, including checking out a new game store.
Ooh.
Seeing how that's just a stone throw across.
They are, so I can visit too.
Yeah, Ben's got a great store up there at Quarterstaff Games. Him and his staff are awesome.
Right. We definitely try. It's been a roller coaster ride in the past year, but coming out of it, the store is doing well, feeling strong, and we're getting ready to get more games into people's hands. So yeah, it's when you're in town, definitely pop in, introduce yourself. I'd love to have you and show you around.
Oh, definitely. And that's one thing that I was curious about, because we have a few gaming stores here in Plattsburgh, but as an owner of a gaming store through a pandemic where, like you said, people stayed home, did you see more of an increase do you have online orders? People could order stuff that way? Was it tough to get people back in once things started to ease up, or?
So we basically had to revamp our entire mindset when the shutdown orders came through. We didn't have a web presence. We didn't have a web store where we could take orders, process orders, ship them out. We had to create that. We did that all within basically the span of a week to get everything set up. And then we offered delivery as well as shipping, and we did in-store pickup a few days a week as well, where people could come up to the door and we kind of crack it open and hand the stuff out. But yeah, it was a trip. Every week we would listen to whatever news was coming out about COVID and trying to figure out where we could go and what services we would need to offer, and just find ways to continue to serve the gaming population. Board games definitely were a big part of our business that took a hit during the pandemic. If you can't get together with friends, it's hard to get these board games. But we saw family games and children's games surge because people were home with their families, so they were buying things to keep them engaged and off of screens and everything, which was really cool to see. And then a lot of the miniatures and miniature painting really took off as well, because when you can't play the games, you can at least put some paint on your models, and those took off quite a bit as well. And yeah, now that we've been able to reopen and get some people in the store, we've had some people voice some concerns about coming in, and we've definitely been one of the more cautious stores in the state of Vermont in terms of our reopening strategy, which has been both good and bad, but we're here in July. We're going to be bringing back events for the first time, and I think we're doing it in a way that's safe and will accommodate the most players and still have it be an environment where people will feel comfortable being in.
That's really cool to hear, and I know you said you've had mixed reviews about trying to be cautious with the reopening, but I think along the lines of a lot of people were upset when conventions took so long to announce that they had to cancel. There are so many things behind the scenes that the attendees, people who go to their comic shops, game stores, conventions, don't understand that as an owner you have responsibility to make sure that everybody in your store is safe, from yourself to the employees to the customers. So if you're taking a little bit longer to make sure everything is safe and clean and well prepared for the safety of everybody else, they can get over themselves. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot that we do in the background that a lot of people don't necessarily see, and the reason they don't see it is because we're doing it well. If we are doing our job correctly and providing these events as smooth, efficiently run events, you don't see all the flames in the back room as we run around with fire extinguishers. So, yeah, no, we're very happy to keep those things moving smoothly and moving at a pace that is going to be good for as many people as possible.
Now, there's one game that I played a lot when I was with my ex-wife, and I used to play it with her brother and some friends of ours, called Thunderstone. Have you heard of this game?
I have, yes. I actually, full disclosure, I did a lot of volunteer work for Alderac Entertainment, the company behind Thunderstone, before I started, really leaning into the game store aspect of the industry. So yeah, I'm very, very familiar with Thunderstone.
I cannot find it anywhere. I would, if I could find it, I would love to get a copy, because I really, really enjoyed this deck building game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's one of the games that AEG is not printing anymore. The last thing they did is they did a Kickstarter for Thunderstone Quest, but even that I think was 3 years ago now, and it didn't really get into retail after the Kickstarter for whatever reason. So. Best bet for older games like that aren't in print, check out your secondary markets, your eBays, and call around to a bunch of stores. There are some stores that do have products sitting on shelves from that old, and unfortunately it's nothing we've got. I wish I could help you out, but I'm sure there are other stores out there that would love to sell a copy of Thunderstone or any other out-of-print game to people that are looking for them.
So as a listener right now, can you explain what Thunderstone is?
Thunderstone was a game. Or do you want to take it, Ben?
You go ahead. I like hearing people that are passionate about games talk about games, and you seem to be someone who's really enjoyed the game, so I would love to hear you talk about it.
No,
but
I have
for me,
to.
It was. I know how to sell it, but I want to hear someone talk about it who loves it.
No, I have to jog my memory banks, and as anybody who knows me will tell you, my memory sucks. And we're talking about, I haven't played this game in over 10 to 12 years. But it's a deck-building game where the goal is to go through a pile of... You have different cards that as you go through you gain coins, and then you can buy certain cards up to the amount of coins that you have, if I remember correctly. And the ultimate goal of the game is to find the Thunderstone, which is buried face down in a tall stack of cards of monsters that you have to try to defeat. And once the Thunderstone is discovered by one of the players, you will then add up your points. Each monster you defeat has a point total. You have different weapons that will help add to your attack or your defense, different abilities, things of that nature that you can acquire using the gold that you get by defeating these monsters or defeating other players, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, you got it. Very much a dungeon crawl representation through a deck building game. Yeah, it's you nailed it.
Didn't Mike Elliott design that, right? Ben?
Yes,
Who designed
Mike Elliott.
Thunderstone? Mike Elliott?
Yeah. You're going to make me look it up, but I'm 99% sure it was Mike Elliott who did the initial bit.
And it was...
He's a really well-known designer.
It was my first introduction to a true deck-building game, and I fell in love with it. It was like every time I got together with these people, like, oh, what games do you want to play? Can we play Thunderstone? Again? I liked it.
Yeah.
And there's a game out now
do you know
that...
Do you know what my first game to introduce myself to deck building was?
What's that?
My first deck building game? It was nailing 2x4s onto the house because my dad made me build we had to take down the rotten deck on our house because it was eaten by carpenter ants, and so we had to build a whole another deck on the side of the house.
Oh.
That was the first deck building game I was introduced to. My dad introduced it to me.
I gotta say, Doug, that sounds similar to and I bet your dad said my dad goes, come on, it'll be fun.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it's gonna be fun. It's a game. We'll make it a game all summer long.
We call that a togetherness party.
Not fun.
It's a togetherness party. It's where you get some friends together and let's do a project.
It turned out to be a one long summer.
No Pop-Tarts were harmed in the making of this episode.
No.
I had to throw a Pop-Tart thing in there somewhere, knowing how often it appears in the show. And was it last week or 2 weeks ago that you had to mute Jason for comments he was making about Pop-Tarts?
I mean, that's pretty much like a weekly thing that I mute Jason. Sometimes even if he gets too outrageous, I just pull him right off screen. So then that way I can't even see him mouth words, because he usually says something that's just so outrageous about Pop-Tarts or something that's, I have to put him in timeout for a little bit.
He's the antagonist that has to say things like, I eat the outside of the Pop-Tart and throw the center away, which everybody knows the center is the best part of the Pop-Tart.
He's going on and on about toasting the Pop-Tart and then eating the crust and having it be the best part. Like, nobody, who in their right mind thinks that? Nobody in their, he deserved a timeout for that.
Oh man, I missed that one. That must have been one of my shows I wasn't on. I would have loved to Jason just to get muted on that too. That would have been fun.
Yeah, Amanda was filling in for you on that one.
Amanda loves Pop-Tarts, so I'm always glad to have Amanda on with me when Pop-Tart topics come up, because Amanda actually orders them by the case and has them delivered to her house.
I do not. Douglas orders Pop-Tarts by the case and has them delivered to my house to troll me.
What? What? I've never seen your kids happier than when they were stuffing their face with frosted raspberry Pop-Tarts. I'm just saying that right now, Amanda.
I don't know about that.
Okay, I should be worried then. Get a surprise package on the porch of Pop-Tarts.
Amanda, you need to send him a surprise package of avocado, the whole crate of avocado.
Those aren't cheap.
They're cheaper than Pop-Tarts, that's for sure.
I don't think so.
They're healthier.
No, they're heavier than Pop-Tarts. They'd cost a lot to ship.
No doubt.
Now, another side of the shows that you guys have been doing have been Wednesday nights. I don't know if it's every Wednesday that you do it or a few times a month where you have the live RPGs that you guys put on.
Yeah, we try to do at least a couple of those every month on Wednesday nights. Sometimes we do Saturday or Sunday streams, but yeah, we try to do various RPGs. Usually they're either centered around fairly new released games, or sometimes we have Kickstarter games that where the designers come on and they run RPGs for us, and we kind of learn and show it off as we go.
And I'll be honest, it's watching you guys play these RPGs through the streams that has really piqued my interest into wanting to know more about them. So I thank you for piquing my interest in something new that I know nothing about.
Well, that's awesome to hear. I love hearing that. And there's so many different RPGs. Like, I know Dungeons and Dragons is like the most popular tabletop role-playing game right now that everybody knows about, but there are so many other games that are so good that, like, if you are interested in anything, like, more than likely there's a tabletop role-playing game at this point.
And I want to throw a quick shout-out to...
There's anime ones, Doug.
Yeah, I actually wrote down some of them that you had thrown out during one of the shows a couple of weeks ago. And I want to throw a quick shout-out to our sponsor, Gavin Goska with Home Circle Media. For those who don't know, Gavin Goska is also a musician with Midnight Syndicate, and they have, to my knowledge, the only official D&D soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
So,
cool.
for you fans of D&D out there, look up Midnight Syndicate. They do have an actual Dungeons & Dragons soundtrack. The Midnight Syndicate has been around for many, many years. I think they have over 20 albums out there. And their music is fantastic. They do a lot of gothic horror type stuff. They do live performances, or they have been doing some live performances at Cedar Point Park in Ohio in October, so around Halloween time for like a month or two. They had been doing that before COVID hit. They've got some new things on the horizon, so definitely check them out. And a big thank you to Gavin sponsoring us with Home Circle Media, his anime company where he sells anime merchandise.
Cool.
So, pay the bills, you know?
That's right.
Now, you guys have an amazingly good chemistry on the show, which I know sometimes it may seem awkward to hear that coming from somebody who watches objectively. As somebody who puts on their own podcast, talk show type of thing, I watch other shows to try to learn how things go, you know, how you guys work off of each other, because I think it's important to never stop learning about the craft you're doing, because there's so much stuff that you will continue to learn no matter how long you've been doing it. And like I said, I love the chemistry you all have.
Thanks. That's nice to know, and it's nice to hear, because, you know, I always get along, like I said, when I was when we were putting together the cast for the Chaotic Good cast, you know, I chose friends that I got along with, and you know, I think some of them might have known each other from doing, you know, RPG actual plays on the show, but I don't know how many of the other folks all kind of knew each other before this show, so it's really kind of neat to hear that, because, you know, I feel like, of course, we have a Facebook chat that we have, you know, behind the scenes, where we kind of throw out topics and conversations throughout the week for topics that we're going to talk about for each Monday night show. But like, I feel like we all kind of become really good friends, you know, as far as the cast, and it's nice to hear that is reflective on during the live shows as well.
Because I know there's a lot of times, like you said, you do a lot of work behind the scenes, and I'm sure, like, as a host of anything that is, you know, produced live, put out there for the public to see, in the back of your head, you're always wondering, do I sound good? Am I coming across like an idiot? Do people like what I'm doing? And things of that nature, because I have those thoughts myself. And I can say... Oh, go ahead.
I just know that I sound like an idiot, so, you know, I don't even worry about it.
I embrace my stupidity all the time, so Darren can tell you, I suffer from shiny object syndrome, which is why my computer is now next to a wall where there is no window. Because early on, you listen to early episodes, when I lived in Massachusetts, I had a window next to my computer, and there's times I would look out and be like, it's snowing. Just out of nowhere. I could be talking to a Funimation voice actor and be like, it's snowing up here.
Sometimes, you know, you just your brain wanders, and that's all it can do. And you know, I have the same issues. You know, I try to keep pretty focused. Try not to keep too many distractions in front of me. So, you know, and it's hard, because I think we talked about this. I think we talked about this in the last RPG actual play, where you know, behind the scenes, not only am I playing and on stream and hosting, but I'm also directing and producing, you know, things behind the scenes. So, you know, I got to keep an eye on the chat. I've got to keep an eye on you know, how things are you know, broadcast, and so it's sometimes every once in a while somebody will say something, and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I was paying attention to the chat too much. I totally missed what you said. Can you repeat that? And, you know, I always feel bad when that happens, but my mind can only do so many things at once.
I can totally understand that, especially now where I'm like simulcasting, keeping an eye on the Blog Talk chat room and the YouTube chat room. And it's like, okay, well, I need to start promoting that we are broadcasting live on YouTube now every week. Because this is something we started last week for the first time. We had our friend Rusty Gilligan on the show, very talented artist. I don't know if you guys have met him or not, but he's appeared at many conventions throughout New England in years past. But we
I had Rusty on my show, I think back in January. But to the point what Doug was saying about when you're mentioning Doug about the chemistry, I think the point of it too is that making sure that everybody kind of has that the why. We always talk about that, not the letter Y, but the why is why. Why chaotic thinking? And just kind of like that North Star, and making sure that we're all kind of following that same mission of what the meaning behind the podcast is. You talk about what we do and how we do it, but the why we do it. And I think Doug has been very. Doug's a good guy, and Doug, you want to surround yourself with the kind of people that want to inspire you. And Doug's good at finding people that to get a group and having his guests come in that help inspire us as co-hosts and people that kind of follow Doug to make sure that we can give him a good show.
Oh, definitely. One reason why is this your third or fourth time on this show, Doug?
I think it's the fourth.
So, obviously you're doing something right because you've had our attention for many years, and we love to promote you. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Doug. It's folks like you and all the other folks that I've gotten to know over the years that that doing what I do, that's why I love doing this, because if I hadn't started Victory Condition Gaming and all that, I wouldn't have Amanda. I probably wouldn't have Barney and Ben and Jason. I know I wouldn't have Jason in my life because he's all the way up in Canada, and I would have never met him. We still haven't even met Jason in person. He just calls in through video chat every week, and all these people wouldn't be in my lives, and you'd be one of those, Doug, where my life would be a lot less than it is now, and I really greatly appreciate all the people that are in my life because of everything we've been doing.
Oh, and
someday we'll get to see Jason's toes.
And you get to smell
him. I don't really want to see Jason's toes.
Maybe you'll get to smell him then, one of these days.
If that ever happens, Doug, if we ever do get to see Jason in person, I'm going to be like, Barney, you wanted to do this. Here you go. Smell Jason's toes.
Take off your shoes. I want to see if they're hairy or they're long. I think the long toes, like you have these really long toes. Some people have really long toes, and some of them are just like hobbit feet, like they're just super hairy. I'm trying to figure out which one Jason is. I'm trying to figure that out.
Why?
So a lot of people stay up at night wondering about how they're going to pay the bills. I stay up at night wondering what Jason's toes look like. This is the thing that keeps me up at night.
He's not even here to hear this.
And Jason's not even here. I feel so bad. Man.
This is going to turn into roast Jason because he's not here, and then on the show tomorrow night you'll be like, "Oh, it was great, man. You should have been there."
we should let folks know that Jason works in a hospital, I think he works in the emergency room. So there's probably a good reason why he's not on tonight, because the fact he's probably working late because of something probably happened at work. So, not only is he serving his community and probably working after hours and probably helping people out, but now he's also getting roasted on this show.
What I was going to say was, him getting roasted on the show, he has now entered the status of celebrities like Anthony Bowling, who is a very talented Funimation voice actor, producer, scriptwriter. He's done a lot of stuff in the anime world. He was supposed to join us for a There's an anime out there called Data Live, and there's video games, there's novels and stuff for this anime, and he directed season 3. So we were going to do a special with a couple of the voice actors and him. He was a half hour late joining us because he forgot his phone in the car. And so we had, I think it was Megan Shipman and Caitlin Barr on, just talking about Anthony, being like, oh, he was, and they were talking him up, being like, he did a great job as a director, his directions were easy to follow, just going on about how good he was. And then when he finally joined us, they just gave him a whole ration of crap, and it was hysterical.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, Ben, you did lovingly give Jason a nickname out of Hexator, right? Didn't you call him Hexatos? That was
Hexatos. Yeah, that's probably what started Barney's obsession. So I apologize to all of the listeners here and all the listeners of the cast. I didn't mean to awaken something in Barney, but apparently I did.
Evidently, there was something trapped there that got unlocked, and we need to put it back in its box.
So go to www.canadiantoes.com, and you will see a picture of
Barney.
I just made that up.
Barney, oh my God.
We should let all of the listeners here know, whenever Barney throws out a web address, don't go to the web address.
Don't go.
No, it's not real. It's not real.
Well, it might be real.
He hasn't vetted it.
Right, yeah. It might be real, and it might be something you don't want to click on.
Yeah.
So
it
just
does
don't.
remind me of it does remind me if you go to www.pop-tarts-versus-avocados.com, there's some really good blog posts on that.
That's where the bunny's going to come in handy, Doug. He throws a website out, you just put a bunny next to it saying that this is a fake website. Bunny.
One of these times he's going to say one of these websites, and people are going to go there, and they're going to it's going to be like they're going to get hacked or something because they went to this malicious website, and then who's going to be in trouble? It's going to be Barney.
We do need to take a quick programming note. We do not have a live show next Sunday. It is the 4th of July. We will be out of state doing some family things, so everybody gets a week break from us. When we come back on July 11th, we have Megan Shipman from Funimation, a very talented voice actress and ADR director, is going to be joining us. It's going to be fun chatting with her. On the 18th, we're going to be welcoming Lindsay Shepard, another Funimation voice actress. I have been on a Show by Rock Mashumaresh kick lately, so yes, that's going to play a big part in both those interviews. So definitely stuff to look forward to on July 11th and July 18th. Of course, tonight, a big thank you to the Chaotic Good Cast for joining us. Man, it's hard to believe that there's only 2 minutes left in the episode tonight, but thank you guys so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us. Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun coming on, Doug.
Time just flies. You guys are always welcome to come back anytime if you got specials coming up, your 150th episode, and you want to promote or anything like that. All of you guys are welcome on, even individually. If Ben, you want to promote the store, Amanda, you want to come on talk about the artwork side of things, Barney, you want to come on talk comics or whatever, the door is always open for you guys.
90 seconds.
Jason's toes, yeah. Pop-Tarts, avocados. We could talk about who knows what. Darren will tell you that we get sidetracked very easily on this show, right, Darren? I think he fell asleep.
He's probably at CanadianToes.com.
I'm gonna type in Canadian Toes.
It does not exist. I looked.
60
I looked.
seconds.
It does not exist.
Well, it will now after this episode.
Oh God! one of your listeners who are listening to us be completely foolish on here is going to be like, okay, well let's make this, and we'll just put random toes that we find on the internet, and we'll say which one of these are Barney's. Guess Barney's toes.
I'm gonna type that in guestbarneystoes.com. Let me see if that's
Oh my
something.
God. Oh man. I apologize, Doug.
Oh, that's all good. Is this why? I can only imagine
It takes me straight.
where the show's going to be tomorrow night. I'm going to have to definitely watch.
That's where I just typed in that. I just typed that in.
10 seconds.
I guess somebody just died already.
Again, check out the Chaotic Goodcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch Monday nights at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern. And
That's correct. Yep.
Again, thank you to everybody for joining us. This has been Anime-Zing Radio right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. And we're clear.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. It was so much fun. I'm sure Jason said that he missed the fun, but I can always pick on him via the chat tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Just call him Hexatoes.
Hexatoes?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'll just put random messages in the chat being like, Barney wants to lick them toes, Jason.
Yuck. I don't even... And
There's a little bit of
Barney's not even going to be there tomorrow night.
No, my wife's birthday tomorrow. So
Oh,
she reminded me. So
happy birthday to the wife.
yeah, she's a
Which-
YouTube sensation. She's got almost 5,000 subscribers now.
That's
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
Very cool.